My name is Joyce, and I'm one of the curators for the Singapore Biennale 2016. This Biennale is titled An Atlas of Mirrors. What we wanted to do with this Biennale was to keep very much that focus on the art of Southeast Asia, because the contemporary art from this region is so incredibly rich, very diverse, and we wanted to really present that to the rest of the world. And present that alongside in conversation with works coming out from South Asia and East Asia as well. One of the things I do here at the Singapore Art Museum is that I work with the artists and art from Philippines. So I was very excited to be able to think about some of these artists that I've wanted to work with for a little while now. And especially thinking about what an atlas of mirrors can mean. It suggests ideas of mapping, histories, as well as what really are mirrors and what are reflections, because you can have a skewed reflection, you can have a magnified reflection. So we thought that these were things that artists could really respond to. So from an initial list, we eventually brought the list down to a number of artists from the Philippines, and I'm very proud to have been able to work with the artists Marta Atenza, Gregory Halili, Ryan Villamel, whose work I'm standing in front of now, Dex Fernandez, as well as Patty Eustachio. So what we did was, the commissioning process was that we invited all of these artists to send us proposals about how they were thinking or responding to the theme. And I'm very excited that I think the Philippine artists have really done themselves and their country proud by really creating these incredible works of art. In the case of Marta Atienza, her work is called Endless Hours at Sea. And this is a work that she's presented at Ateneo before. And I, in fact, seen an earlier version of it when it was still something that she was developing as part of an artist in residency program. And when I really got a sense of what this artwork was about, which is her journeys on cargo ships, because she's been traveling on these freight ships for a number of years, and how this was very much intersecting with her own family history. Her father was a sea captain, her mother worked on a cruise liner, and how very much that this story was then resonating, I think, with the stories of many Filipinos who actually work on board as, on board ships as sailors, as mariners and seamen. So I thought that this work really, would just speak wonderfully to the Biennale and our audiences, and very proud to have that here with us. Another work would be Ryan Villamel's work, the work that I'm here with now. And Ryan is known very much for his, I think, great skill at cutting. He creates these very intricate paper sculptures. But they're just not ordinary paper sculptures, because he creates them from particular material. In this case, he's created all of these paper sculptures from maps of the Philippines. So he's really used this as an opportunity to look at the long, perhaps fraught history of the Philippines as it's come into becoming an independent sovereign nation. So we have here in this work where the maps are cut into the shapes and forms of a plant known as the Monstera deliciosa, and how he's used replicas of maps from the colonial era, Spanish maps, all the way up to more recent maps of, say, Manila, maybe, say, in the 1920s and the 1930s. So really exploring the idea of maps, not just as something that help us to navigate from one place to another, but how that they are oftentimes political documents as well. And what he says that maps actually capture a particular kind of reality. So a work like this, I think, on the one hand, it's very visually quite stunning, but also conceptually very rich, and allows something then for audiences to respond to as well. Another artist, Gregory Halili, has done a work with a very different kind of mapping. His work is called Carole Garton, and what he's done is to go out to meet and talk to people who live in the various coastal communities of the Philippines, which, as we know, and he's also created a very, I think, moving, touching, site-specific work here at the Singapore Biennale. In this Biennale, we have a total of 63 artists and artist collectives, of which we have then 5 artists coming out from the Philippines. So what I do as a curator here in the Biennale is that we help to select the artists and then we present that to the rest of the curators to hear their feedback and what they think about the proposals. And a very big part of what I do as well is then I will work with the artists to sometimes shape or to feedback to their artworks, especially if these are new commissions. So oftentimes they will come to me and say, oh, I've got this idea, I've been thinking about doing this, and then I'll go, okay, that's an interesting idea, but perhaps have you thought about this, or maybe you might want to try doing it maybe this way as well. Or I know you're very, very good at working, say, this material, is that something you want to explore further in this Biennale? So it's very much an active conversation that I have with the artists, really with a view to, I think, try and bring out the best in the artwork, again, very much in dialogue with the creator of that work. And so with this Biennale, one of the works we have is a work by Dex Fernandez, and he's actually creating that work still as we speak because he was very familiar, say, with the Filipinos in the Philippines, and he wanted to capture a particular community there. And I said to him, well, maybe you want to think about coming to Singapore and speaking to that Philippine community over here so that it provides a different perspective on the work that you are thinking about, which is what Dex is doing, and which is why he's continuing to work on this piece right now. And we wanted to also show that as a work in progress then for our audiences, so that even after the Biennale has opened, when they come here, there is something for them to watch that's happening as the work's being created. So in addition to the artworks, I guess what we might call these kind of completed works, some of the artworks we have are performance artworks. So for example, we have a piece by a performance artist, Chia Chu Ya, and she's knitting a dress out of the leek vegetable, and she's been knitting that dress every day from 10 to 6 o'clock. So it's very much a durational performance. So people coming into the Biennale now can actually go past Chuya as she actually sits and she knits faithfully away. Another big event that we are looking forward to is going to take place in January, and this will be part of our Art Week celebration, and this will be the Singapore Biennale Symposium, where then academics, critics, various people from the art world will come together to have a debate and dialogue about issues that have emerged in the Biennale. So we look forward to welcoming people to that event as well.